Just seize every opportunity, walk through every door in faith, take a risk, take a chance, don't do anything imprudent, but just go for it. And now's the time to do it.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Jim Sweeney. Previously, episode 1281 of the 12-Minute Converse podcast. It's been just 2 years, 2 months, 27 days, 14 hours, and 30 minutes since we last recorded that conversation. That was then. This is now. Jim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding. Wow. 2 years have already passed. It seemed like yesterday that we were speaking.
Someone needs to study the psychology that goes with this thing, right? But yeah, it feels as though I just spoke with you, Jim. In fact, your voice sounds almost the same as well.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm 62 years old and my daughter still jokes with me and says, "Dad, you have a prepubescent voice. It's such a young man's voice for how old you are."
Which is
so
good.
I'm grateful I have that. It just, I guess, speaks of the fact that I'm happy in life. I get up every day looking to seize the day and go to sleep early, tired, and feeling like I gave it my best that day. So I think it's a positive outlook for life is reflected in my voice. That's the way I look at it.
I love that. Now there's the character of Mike, right? Which is another voice, which again, now we're seeing the multiplication of a positive voice, right? That we spoke about.
Yes.
How's that going?
It's going differently than I had expected. I still continue to write. I have penned over 1,000 blogs through the voice of my character, Mike.
Wow.
And I've also published 40 ebooks that are available online through Amazon or directly through my website, which is theemike.com. And I love it. Mike is my alter ego. He's a microphone. His real name is Michael Anthony Raffone. We call him the ultimate talking head on sports. And I fully expect one day to see him on television or on an internet big sports website as an alter ego character.
Yeah, I just interviewed someone and they were talking about I think the guy's name is Mark Gilbert, the guy that created Archie, if I'm not mistaken. Are you familiar with the comics side of life?
I'm familiar with Archie, yes. As a matter of fact, you had asked me in preparation for this interview, what is my favorite song growing up? And it was by the Archies.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, like I just got chills there, So I told him, I told Paul Adams, right, the episode before you, I said, hey, well, the next conversation I'm having, like, this guy created 40 comic books, right? He's like, well, make sure and tell him, right, that I just interviewed the guy that created Archie. It's like, what? Yeah, I'll definitely tell him that. I'll connect you both, yeah? Let's see where that goes, yeah?
Please do that. I just wrote down his name and I was looking to reach out to him directly myself. So thank you, Angel.
Oh, that's great. Now, amongst everything that has your voice sounding this young, there's 39 or 40 years of marriage in the mix there somewhere? How much is it?
39 years. I mean, my wife and I met, we were in college in 1977. And as we like to say in the United States, I outkicked the coverage. I married way over my pay grade. My wife is phenomenal. She's a public speaker. Actually, she's gearing up to go to London in a couple of weeks to speak at a conference there and hopefully 2 universities. And she's also a podcaster. She's a blogger and she's a voice, a voice for the new millennium. So I'm very grateful to have her in my life.
Yeah, it seems as though the combination of both of you, and you can tell me if this is accurate or not, is responsible a lot for your voice, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, when you're married to Maura Sweeney, you got to get up every day with your A game because she's going to challenge you only in the best way. And the woman has the most incredible view on life. She's extremely positive. She's probing at times. But her heart is in the right place and her spirit soars. So yes, she contributes to my buoyant, youthful voice.
It's really interesting because the conversation before we spoke about making good choices. Our parents are living lives and they're doing the best that they can do. However, we can take two things from them, the things that they didn't do or the things that they did do. How much of an impact did your parents have on you, and how much did making those choices that were tantamount, for example, to your daughters, all right, well, to your one daughter who is around 27, if I'm not mistaken, if I did my research right?
That's correct.
Yeah, how has it connected? Or is it not even connected?
It's intimately, intrinsically connected. My parents were wonderful. They poured a lot into my life. My mom, she was just, I mean, terrific in the opportunities that she introduced to me. But she was a disciplinarian. She was tough at times, and I mean that in a very respectful, very good way. My dad had the best attitude, and he always looked to support me in everything that I did.
Hmm.
Uh, and with our daughter, I always shared with her from being a little girl, whenever she would say thank you, I would say, Kaylee, do what grandmom and pop did for me. Do one better
Hmm.
for with your kids. So I'm just trying to, share with her the great memories I had of growing up in a wonderful household where my parents poured everything they had into my life and my sister's life. They didn't really give us everything. Sometimes we had to work for it, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's great parenting, actually. And I tried to share that the best of my experiences being brought up by Florence and Don Sweeney and passing it on to our daughter, Kaylee.
Now, it feels as though there's a spiritual side to who Jim is that keeps him grounded. Is that accurate?
That's extremely accurate. I mean, I thank God. I went out for a walk today. I get up before the crack of dawn and I walked 4 miles along Bayshore Boulevard in Safety Harbor, Florida, and I commune with God every day. And I thank Him for the life that He's given me. I ask Him for, wisdom and to order my steps as I go forward every day. And it works. It works, and I'm grateful for the relationship I have with Him.
I think that's very important to highlight. If we just percolate there for just a bit, it's really fascinating that after creating man, that two things that God decided to do. And I'm like, this is the all-powerful God, cell phone technology to the 12 X's there. He could have said, hey, I'll communicate with man telepathically. However, the Bible speaks about in the cool of the day that man and God would walk and have a conversation. And I think you've uncovered something there, right? The power of a conversation, one, as well as the power of walking. There's something magical there. Would you not say so?
I would absolutely agree with you. And God doesn't, I've never heard Him speak to me audibly. Or I've never had Him send me a text or an email or leave me a voicemail. But it's like innately, I know by my spirit what He's saying to me. And it's very important to me and my wife in our lives. And we value that and we're grateful for it.
Now, you are the planner, right? Of course, you're walking. The to-do list, as we spoke about the last time, is something that you would do daily. Is it like the Eisenhower model where you're checking off the ABCD type things, like what's important, what's not?
All right. I cannot go to sleep at night until I've either checked everything off my list or those things I was unable to accomplish that day, add them to the list I will prepare the night before for the following day. I'm a little bit psycho when it comes to that, but it works for me.
Yeah. And it has been beneficial, hasn't it?
Oh, without doubt. I think, it keeps me in line. I'm a goal setter. And when I look at the list, there's a lot of my goals that I know that I put on that list or things that are instrumental or helpful in my achieving those goals are on that list.
So what are you up to right now? What's the thing Jim is working on?
I'm working on a proposal with a couple large media companies that are evaluating mic content. And it's a twofold approach where I have to get the media companies' approval and their willingness and their support to bring on some of the content, which is animated shorts, 60 to 90 seconds, where Mike pontificates about things in life. He views the world of sports through his own unique lens, and he's funny, he's witty, he's a little bit audacious at times. But then there's also the flip side of that business arrangement is where do I get the funding in order to produce the animation, which is quite expensive.
Yeah.
So that's one project that's always going on. And secondly, I always share with people I have the world's greatest volunteer gig. I serve as the head of the United States and on the international board of the largest senior basketball federation in the world. We have representatives in 47 different countries, and I recruit players and organize teams to play internationally in global basketball tournaments.
That's amazing. Where can people find out more about either of things?
FIMBA.net, FIMB.net. As far as the global basketball. And as far as Mike, the Mike, TheeMike.com.
Jim, this has been such of a great pleasure, my friend. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
It's a new year, actually a new decade, 2020. Just seize every opportunity. Walk through every door in faith. Take a risk, take a chance, a calculated risk, a calculated chance. Don't do anything imprudent, but just go for it.
Love it.
And now's the time to do it.
Jim Sweeney, folks, check him out. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.